Hello there and welcome to a new Colganology, and we've got a guest star today. This is Alfie, belongs to one of my neighbours, and they're having some building work done at the moment, and rather than him sit in all the dust and everything, I'm going to dog sit him for a few hours this week every day so he can come out and be in Harris on the daily dog walk. And already he's put me through my paces. He's on a mission. Harris is such a dawdler, this one. He's off like a rocket, and he's no youngster. In fact, where is Harris? I bet he's miles behind. Oh, he is trying to catch up, look. Well, the walks continue, but there's not a lot new to report at the moment, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to bring you up to date with an arts project I've been working on. It's characters for an imaginary folk festival. Yes! I realised I had, kicking around in my office here, in my study, I realised I had some polymer clay sitting around that really needed using up before it dries out. And I thought about making some figures from various British folk festivals, but the problem with that is you have to be accurate, because people take this kind of stuff very, very seriously, and if you get the figures wrong in any way, there'll be 1,000,006 people online straight away saying you've got the head the wrong shape, or there's not enough scales on the body, or whatever. So I thought, what about creating a set of characters for an imaginary folk festival? Well, it just so happens that about 10 years ago, I wrote the first of what would turn out to be a trio of comedy novels, all set in a fictitious county called South Hertfordshire, A Murder to Die For, The Diabolical Club, and, despite how it looks, it's pronounced Corrings. So here I had the perfect place in which to set my imaginary folk festival. All I had to do was to create some characters. As always, I started with sketching, and I came up with 3 characters that I quite like the look of. Let's look at the first one. We're going to call him the Jangler. My inspiration for the first figure was the Dorset Ooser. Now, this was a large wooden head that was hollow, probably intended to be worn as a mask, that used to be the property of the Cave family in Dorset in the late 1800s. We have photographs of it and illustrations of it, but unfortunately it went missing back in about, I think it was 1897, something like that, and it's never ever been found. But it captured the imagination of folklorists, and it's since been recreated. And as you can see from the video here, the Wessex Morris men and various other people will dance with the recreated Dorset Ooser. Now, I didn't want to rip it off completely, but what I thought is I like the idea of the big head and the horns, so I created my own version of the Ooser. I began with a core of wood, actually a piece of old broom handle, covered it in silver foil, and then covered it in bakeable polymer clay. And then I covered it with lots of raggedy bits, which I snipped with a pair of tiny nail scissors, and then I baked it. I then got a large round flint, glued that to the top, and then covered that with clay. Now, the texture was done by pushing a dishcloth into the surface to give a Hessian look. Then I made some sort of snakes of clay, 2 of them, wound them around each other to make ropes, and sculpted some little sleigh bells. And the Jangler was done. Now it was on to the second character, who I'm calling Crimpy Jack. Now, I'm a proud Cornishman, having grown up in Lanson, Penzance and Helston, and there's nothing that says Cornwall more than a Cornish pasty, but it suddenly occurred to me that there wasn't really a pasty king or a pasty character in any of the Cornish folk festivals I ever grew up with. So I decided to create one. I started by sculpting a large head-shaped pasty and then a body out of wire and silver foil. I then put some Sculpey onto it, some polymer clay, and baked it to get a basic body shape. I then made some smaller pasties to make the lips and the nose, and some pasty shoes. I then covered the whole body in little tiles, I suppose, of flat polymer clay stuck on with polymer clay adhesive, and I made them all look a bit raggedy. Added a few ropes here and there, and a pasty codpiece, and he was done too. Oh, and a pasty axe. I mean, he had to have a pasty axe. But now, on to the third character, the teaser. Like most of these sculptures, the teaser started life as a basic armature of wire and silver foil. I then covered that with polymer clay, and then I made a cone out of cardboard and covered that in polymer clay and baked both. I then used an extruder to make lots and lots of spaghetti, if you like, hair for the body, and covered the body with that. And then I sculpted a little hand puppet, a sort of weird old lady Punch and Judy type figure to put on a stick that you could use to tease the crowd with. Put that all together and we had the teaser complete. Now it was time to give all 3 figures a final bake and then paint them. I began by giving them all a coat of a base black primer, and I made sure they were covered all over, and any bits that needed filling in, such as undercuts that the spray didn't quite get, I just touched in with some black acrylic and a brush. Then I gave them all a dusting with gold spray paint, and that simulated bronze, and voila, they were done. I'm happy to say that I'm really pleased with them. So here's the final beauty shots. Will I make any more? Of course I'm going to bloody make some more. But meanwhile, he's still on a mission. Good Lord. Where are you in such a hurry to be? Important business meeting? Got to catch a plane? How can you go that fast when your legs are 4 inches long? Anyway, see you soon. Till a bit.